When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain. And after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak, and he taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you, and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." Grace and peace to you all, in the name of our still-speaking God, who loves us just the way we are, who loves us too much to let us stay that way forever. Will you pray with me? May these words of my mouth and may the meditations of all of our hearts be pleasing in your sight, O God, for it is you and you alone who is our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. At this point in our story, Jesus' ministry had only just begun. He had called a few disciples, Simon, Peter, and Andrew, James, and John, but they hadn't yet been sent to work or to preach on their own. Jesus had begun to perform a few miracles, to heal a few sick people, but his miraculous powers, much like his disciples, remained more or less untested. His ministry had only just begun, and yet word about him had already begun to spread. And once word got around that there was a man named Jesus who could heal the sick just by laying his hands on them, people started coming to him. Not just a few people, but crowds of people, the Bible tells us. Crowds of people came limping and begging. And they said to Jesus, "Help us. Save us." And Jesus saw these crowds of people with their diseases and distress, distraught and demon-possessed, and Jesus knew that they were too many for one man, even for one man who was God, to save alone. And so, the Bible says, Jesus took his disciples up to the top of the mountain, and there he began to teach them. And he began his teaching in this way, saying, "My disciples, what I have to say to you is true. My disciples, believe this. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek and those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. And blessed are the merciful, the pure-hearted, and the peacemakers. And blessed are those who are persecuted because they believe in me. Blessed are the last, blessed are the least, blessed are the lost. Amen. Now, I wasn't there, and the Bible doesn't say. But can't you just imagine one of his disciples hearing those words and raising his hand and saying, "Wait, what? You mean we're supposed to go back to those crowds of suffering people and tell them that it's all okay because their reward is in heaven and there's pie in the sky? Are you seriously saying that we're supposed to go back to those crowds of people with their broken bodies and their broken spirits and tell them to buck up because God will take care of it all after they're dead?" And I wasn't there. And the Bible doesn't say. And so I don't know if any of this happened or not. But if it did, don't you think Jesus would have had an answer ready to that question? To that concern? Don't you think Jesus would have heard that and said, "Boy, I am glad you asked"? I imagine that Jesus would have looked at his disciples and said, "The meek and the mourners, the poor and the persecuted, they are not blessed because heaven is coming, although it is. They're not blessed because one day love is going to win out and rule throughout the world, although it will. My friends, those crowds of people with their broken bodies and their broken spirits are blessed because of you." That's right. You who are the salt of the earth. You who are the light of the world. You who are a city on a hill. I imagine Jesus saying to them, "My disciples, what I have to say to you is true. My disciples believe this. Blessed are the poor in spirit because I'm sending you, Simon Peter, and you Andrew, and you James, and you John, to build the kingdom of heaven right here on earth." These crowds of desperate people will be blessed because my disciples will be my church. And I will send my church into the world, an army of kindness and gentleness and love. And the Holy Spirit will be upon them, and through their prayers and through their blessings and through their work, they will call heaven down into the world. And I wasn't there, and the Bible doesn't say. And so I don't know. But here's how I think Jesus knew who would be blessed. I think Jesus looked down through the ages to all the disciples that would sit at his feet in the centuries and the millennia to come. And I think he saw you. Brothers and sisters, what I have to say to you today is true. My friends, believe this. God is sending the Custer Community Church into the world. Sending you, John, you, Pete, you, Don. Is sending each and every one of us into the world to be a blessing to the young and to the old, to the friend and to the stranger, to the hurting and to the helpless and to the hopeless. My friends, blessed are the children of Custer, South Dakota, because God is sending people like Wade and Kathy Johnson who will organize and put on a kids' fair. Sending people like Don Paulson and Joe Range to drive our kids' fair bus. Sending people like Bob and Martha Schilling who bought the church our kids' time bus and who will provide kid time snacks. And Martha, who is there every day to teach kids' time lessons so that the young people in this country, in this community, will grow up knowing that they are cared for and that they are loved, and they'll grow up knowing about God. And blessed are the hungry people of Custer, South Dakota, because God is sending people like Marge McCauley and Susan Barnes to collect food for our food pantry. Sending people like Pete Burkett and Joe to deliver Meals on Wheels to the elderly. Blessed are the hungry people of the world, because a portion of the offerings that we collect in our church every Sunday is used to feed the hungry and to house Blessed are the poor people of Custer, the people who need a little extra help, because people like Paul Nettinga and Christy Nelson will be working at the storehouse to help them find the furniture or the clothes or the household goods that they need but can't otherwise afford. Blessed are the lonely people of Custer, because Lois Wells will organize free concerts to provide them with entertainment and social activities, to bring music and jokes to brighten their spirits. Blessed are the hurting people of Custer, because Sheila Thomas will send them cards and Ruth Ronge will knit them prayer shawls. Blessed are the people of Custer, South Dakota, because when we, the Custer Community Church, see a need, we will meet it. And when we see heartbreak, we will heal it. And when we see evil, we will stand against it. Blessed are the crowds of people who cry out to God, help us and save us. Because Christ is sending this church into the world to build the kingdom of heaven right here on earth, starting in this community. And although we have been here for over 100 years, we have only just begun. Sisters and brothers, what I have to say to you is true. Believe this. If the Beatitudes are to be more than just platitudes, it is because God has chosen you, has chosen all of us, working together in Christ's name and with the strength that Christ gives us, to be a blessing to others. My friends, life is short. And we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who make this earthly pilgrimage with us. So be swift to love. Make haste to do kindness. Be eager to be the blessings